Howdy, folks. I'm beautiful birds of paradise, brazenly boring boorish boars.
I'm Amber.
And here are more boorish boars for us to bore into. Amber, this is gruesome.
Oh, I meant bore, like you're boring them because you're just a bird of paradise sitting there doing nothing.
Oh, that makes more sense. Oh, oh no. I might have a problem. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Girlfriend That My Birthday Was Terrible Because of Her? I'm 32 years old and a male, and my girlfriend is 29. Today was my birthday. About a week ago, my girlfriend approached me and asked what I wanted. I said that I would rather just kind of stay in, game, and maybe order some food. She seemed disappointed because she wanted to do more, but she knows, or at least is supposed to know, that I'm more of a homebody. The only time that I really want to go out is if either A, we're traveling, or B, seeing a movie. Well, this morning she woke me up at 9 a.m. and said that she had something special planned for me. I immediately knew that no matter what it was, whether it was a movie or a day trip, that I really wasn't in the mood to go. But despite my earlier comment about wanting to stay at home, she obviously had planned something, and not to go along with it would have upset her. We got into the car, and she drove directly to the mall. I hate the mall. I hate the mall more with her because she just wants to go on these 8-hour window shopping marathons, where she keeps asking me questions about what she thinks would look good on her. I've voiced this to her before, but she doesn't seem to understand or care. I just hope for the off chance that maybe we're going to go see a movie and leave. This wasn't the case, and she dragged me around the mall window shopping. The only break was lunch in the food court, then back to window shopping. Around dinner time, I thought that maybe she would have something more special planned, and then she drove me across town, and I assumed that maybe we would be going to a Korean barbecue. But she parked in front of a sushi restaurant. She's supposed to know that I really dislike sushi. The only kind of roll I can really stomach is the egg nuri. And while eating, she was obviously trying to force off this hyper positive about how great everything was. And apparently, I couldn't react well enough for her. When the check came, she made no indication that she was even going to take out her wallet. So I just ended up paying the bill. We got home and she asked me how it was. I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but I told her it was a terrible birthday and that she should have just left me alone. She immediately began debating the point, and I may have been harsh, but I said that she obviously doesn't care about my feelings and just wanted to do what she wanted to do. She's been quietly crying until she called me an unappreciative jerk, went to the bedroom and slammed the door. I heard her shriek several times. I don't know what I was supposed to do. Should I have just shut up and pretended to enjoy it? Alright, folks, what do you think?
Nah, the jerk. This was not a gift for OP, this was a gift for her. She knows OP doesn't like any of these things and decided to go ahead and do them anyway because it's what she wants to do. That is not the sign of a partner who cares about you.
Well, I think if we were to be as charitable as possible here, she thought about what she likes and was like, of course OP will like this, right? Which isn't charitable at all when you say it out loud, right? But I mean, it's one of those things where maybe she really sincerely thought that he was going to enjoy spending time with her and being out and about, right?
Right, well, I guess my one question is, has he communicated that he doesn't like any of these things to her? Hopefully he has, and if he has, then, like, she had to have expected this outcome. If he hasn't, well, she's not a mind reader.
Yeah, I mean, I think given the way he's phrased things, I'm assuming that he has talked to
Mm-hmm.
her about these things in the past, and given that she asked him what she wanted, what they wanted to do, he was like, I'd rather just stay at home and be a
Mm-hmm.
homebody thing. And I understand her wanting to spend time with him, and if he's just sitting at home all day and playing games or something like that, maybe she could find a way to interact with him. But if he, is kind of really distant when he's playing games, then that kind of, I can understand why she would want to spend more time with him on his birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that's what she was trying to do and maybe execute it in probably the poorest way possible, is just spend time with him. But unfortunately, you just can't give a gift that someone doesn't want and expect them to appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, and again, it doesn't seem like she apologized. She just doubled down and, like, you're ungrateful for not liking my gift.
Yeah, and I mean, she asked it. She asked the question, right? It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like OP offered. It was like, "Hey, this is terrible." She was literally, "How did you like your day?" And OP was like, "Well, it wasn't kind of my time. It ruined it for me." But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And no, Scarcity 8249 says, "Not the jerk, she completely disregarded you. You weren't even a consideration. She used your birthday as an excuse to drag you around and make you miserable doing things that she wanted to do. She took you to everything that you hated. Was she trying to be mean? Then you say she was shrieking? Okay, that's something for 911. And you had to pay. She's a jerk." And New Jellyfish 6737 says this: "She took you to do everything that you hated is spot on." I also wanted to point out the paying thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is usually on someone's birthday, like if you go out, you treat the birthday person.
But she kind of expected to be treated here too.
Yeah.
It's like spending time with me is the treat,
Yeah.
and you should pay for that treat. And Rabbit Lost says, "I'm exhausted for OP just reading that day. Ugh, not the jerk." And Narful the Garthok says, "Who's willing to bet that she's hoping for a breakup?" And Celophodium says, "Or maybe this is some dumb trend that people are doing on TikTok. I mean, maybe dragging everyone around as a relationship test. I mean, that could be the case."
I mean, there are relationship tests everywhere, but that's not a good thing.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for demanding my husband returns my engagement ring to the store because he is making me pay for it through our joint account?" My husband is a 30-year-old male and I am a 28-year-old female, and we've been married for just under 3 months and have been having huge arguments about my engagement ring. We got married 1 month into him proposing to me. It wasn't a fancy wedding, and we had our honeymoon right after we signed the papers at the courthouse. He gave me a diamond engagement ring that was close to 8K, 2-carat lab diamond. He didn't have the funds available readily as we were saving for a home, so he put this ring on a payment plan. I found out after we were married, then merged our finances, that he has been withdrawing funds from our joint account. We make roughly the same amount to finance this ring. I was just taken aback and honestly put off by the fact that he is making me pay for a gift that he gave to me. We have been having some arguments lately, and he feels that the ring is a wedding expense and it's only fair that I contribute towards it, and that as a woman of this day, I shouldn't be hesitant to have an equal partner. I call BS and shared my thoughts on this whole thing. First, you don't make a recipient pay for a gift, it's a gift. An engagement ring is considered a gift in most modern societies, even today, and I didn't care if you disagree with that. It's just what cultural expectations are, and we've never discussed it if he had any issue with that. Maybe if he was adult enough, I would have had a discussion about how it makes him feel and see if his values about tradition align with mine. Second, I've unintentionally partially paid for 2 installments now, which makes me a part owner of the ring. If I knew that my husband was going to be making me pay for the ring, I wouldn't have agreed to buy it. Mutual consent is essential when a couple is deciding to invest on an asset. Owning a house or a car jointly requires 2 yeses. And I wouldn't certainly have said yes to jointly owning a ring that he was supposed to give to me as a gift. So I can retroactively decide now I never wanted to own it, and have been demanding that my husband return the ring to the store if paying for the ring hurts his pocket so much. Clarification, because I anticipate a lot of people might wonder. I've always wanted a nice ring, and I'm not going to apologize about it since we never had a real wedding party, and I knew I deserved a quality piece symbolizing our love. However, my then fiance also knew about the expectation that I had of him and was upfront about things from the get-go. He could have discussed things with me, like I mentioned earlier in my post, and we could have seen if we were truly compatible like that. What I didn't know was that he was plotting to get even with me by taking out a payment plan and using our funds to finance it. This caused him to flare up, and he berated me for being sexist towards him. I put my foot down, not because I can't afford it, or I refuse to financially contribute, or give my husband a nice gift, but my husband's sheer stubbornness and tackiness about wanting me to pay is what makes me mad. I don't mind splurging for him, but this whole situation has left a very bad taste in my mouth. He expects me to apologize to him because I called his actions tacky and decisions scammy in bad faith. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
I know this isn't the point of the letter, but like, where did he get a 2 carat lab grown diamond for $8,000? Like, OP, I would first check the receipts and see if that money is actually going toward a ring, because if it is, then he needs to return it anyway because he gets scammed. Like, lab grown diamonds do not go for that much money as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I mean, that really seems like a lot of money for a lab grown diamond, right? Like, I just don't understand what he's paying for at that point in time.
Yeah. As for the bigger thing, like, I think I can understand OP's frustration not realizing that there was going to be this shared expense coming from their shared finances. And I think that they need to separate finances ASAP. Like, maybe have the joint finances just for their mutual bills, like rent, groceries, and whatnot. And then they have their own individual savings where they can pay their own individual bills.
Well, yeah, I think this is a difficult situation because OP has kind of been baited and switched in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of ways. OP is kind of like talking about, oh, I'm a partial owner of this ring. No, you are a full owner of this ring.
Right.
You own it because it was given to you as a gift.
Yeah, well, I think what she's saying is that she's assumed the debt without
Yeah,
realizing it.
yeah. And I mean, now she also owns the debt because
Mm-hmm.
she is paying off this ring, right? And I think that's a if he should have paid off the ring before the wedding.
Right, or discussed it before
Yeah.
joining finances and being like, hey, this is going to be a monthly expense.
Yeah.
Because if you're merging finances, you and your partner both need to be aware of all the
Mhm.
debts that are going to be coming out of that joint fund any month. You don't get to just throw on surprise, like, oh, by the way, I never paid for your engagement ring in full. We're still paying it off.
Yeah, I think again, like a gift isn't a gift if you're partially paying for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you are fully aware that you're going to be partially paying for it. Like, I mean, certainly, like if someone pays for half of your car, right, and says, "I'll pay you $5,000," that $5,000 is still a gift,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even if you still have to have a payment plan on the eventual car. But in this particular case, where OP is going to be basically paying for half of the ring,
Right. Well, the car example, the gift isn't the car itself, it's the
yeah,
$5,000,
yeah.
you know. And so, yeah, the ring at this point in time isn't a gift. It's something that OP is being forced to pay for, and I can understand wanting it returned and get something more affordable because, again, $8,000 is a lot of money for a 2 carat lab grown diamond.
Yeah, well, and I also think that OP, in similar to the car situation, she's being gifted $4,000, not a ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's being given a chunk of money to help pay for the ring over time,
And at
right?
that point, like, you're better off just getting the ring you want.
Yeah,
Like, return the original one, get a ring that is both affordable and that you actually want.
yeah. So I feel bad for OP in this situation because I do really feel like if you're trying to give someone a gift, this isn't the good way of going about it. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Hot Interaction 6526 says, nobody pointing out $8,000 for a 2 carat lab grown diamond is insanely expensive. And Smooth Strength 9914 says, my first thoughts too. And Farashkov says, you got married after being engaged for 1 month. How long have you known this guy? And why are you rushing to set up joint accounts with someone you don't trust? And if your accounts are joined, how else is he supposed to pay for things? This sounds ridiculous on all levels. Nobody is making good decisions. Well, she may have not realized that the ring was on a payment plan, right? And I think
Right.
that's the biggest thing is like she walked into a relationship and joined accounts and wasn't aware of his debts.
Right. And again, that's why it's important before you join finances to have a very detailed list of, like, these are all my assets, these are all my expenses, so that you're all on the same page. And don't have surprises like this.
Exactly. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 38-year-old female and my husband, a 39-year-old male, hid having lunch with a coworker, a 25-year-old female, and said my food was tasteless. What do I do? I want this to be quick. I really feel weird about this, and I'm on the verge of asking for separation. So I've been with my husband for 15 years, married for 11, amazing relationship, small bumps of course, but nothing like this. I've always made lunch for my husband to take to work, and up until a little over a month ago, that was fine. Middle of March, he said that a new Turkish food stand opened up outside of his office and that he has been eating lunches there instead because they were good. All right, no problem. So he just completely stopped asking for lunches. I had maybe packed 5 lunches during this time frame for him, but I'm not even sure he was eating them now. So on to Thursday, I was at home working and I had a phone call from him. I thought that he had called me during his lunch break, but he had butt dialed me instead. At first, I didn't hear much, just him talking to someone, and I was about to hang up until I heard a woman's voice as well. I wouldn't say that I'm a jealous person, but I was a little bit curious, so I muted my call at work and just listened. It was standard conversation at first, and he was praising this woman's cooking a lot, which of course made me realize that he was eating lunch this coworker had made. I was a bit peeved, but there was an explanation for sure. Although that went out the window when she said, "Is this better than your wife's?" To which he replied, "Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's not tasteless for a start," followed by a laugh. First of all, what is that supposed to mean? 15 years of cooking and now he has a complaint? And not even to me, but some coworker? Also, that absolutely isn't innocent on her end, right? I'm not ridiculous in thinking that this is weird. Why even bring it up? Anyways, I was mad. I ended the call and I sent him a message not to worry about my tasteless cooking anymore and that he can eat from the bin from now on. He apologized and says that he loves my food and was just trying to seem cool in front of his coworker. I asked why he lied about where he was getting lunch from, and he said that he initially did get it from that stand, but the coworker started offering and he didn't want to tell me because he thought that I would get jealous. Yeah, well, can you blame me? So I've been airing him since. I'm still mad, to be honest, and I haven't made lunch or dinner only for myself since he has said that he dislikes it so much. He said today that he's apologized and that I shouldn't keep punishing him, but I'm literally an inch away from going to my mom's. I have a suitcase with my clothes packed under our bed, ready. Dad thinks that it was a dumb comment, but that I should work it out. Mom is on my side regardless of my decision. I'm thinking about leaving for a few days at least. Maybe a separation, but honestly, I just want some reassurance if that's what's best here. Alright folks, what do you think of this situation?
Well, unfortunately, I can't tell OP absolutely what's best here, but I will 100% validate that this seems really fishy. It does sound like maybe an affair isn't happening yet, but it's going in that territory. The whole wanting to be compared to his wife and the way he dismisses OP, that does not bode well for me. I think space apart from him might be good to assess the relationship. And he's also doesn't seem to be taking any culpability. He just wants to be like, I've apologized. You just need to move on.
Yeah.
Like, where's his ownership in this? How do you know he's not still trashing your cooking with this coworker?
Yeah, well, and this was one phone call. What are the odds in one phone call that OP overheard the only conversation that he's been bad mouthing OP, right? This is likely a pattern of behavior. You don't just get a one-off phone call where he's, battering OP, right? He doesn't respect OP and he thinks that he can just talk down about her. And that's not a good place to be, right?
Right. Like, even if he was just trying to impress a coworker, why is it so important that he degrades his wife to impress this coworker?
Yeah. There's no call for that, right? Like, I mean, I talk to my coworkers all the time and no one ever slanders their partners in front of anyone else, right? I mean, that's just not normal conversation, right? Like, no one's out there being like, my wife's terrible today. I can't wait to get home and criticize her or anything like that, right? I mean, it just is like, this isn't a healthy relationship if he doesn't feel comfortable talking to OP about any of these complaints. And I mean, maybe he is just trying to be cool, but again, like what you said, why? What's the point of being cool to his coworker?
And being like, oh, your cooking is so much better than my wife's. Like, first of all, you can mutually think that two different people both have good cooking.
Yeah.
And so the whole wife comparison is very weird. Like, why is it so important to her that her cooking's better than OP's wife's unless she's trying to get with husband?
Yeah.
And why is it so important to him that he validate and criticize OP and being like, yeah, no, yours is so much better. My wife's is just tasteless swill.
Yeah. The optics here are terrible. So I don't blame OP at all for wanting a separation and maybe even a divorce. Who knows? Marriage counseling at the very minimum is needed here. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Jake, Dad, the man from the computer store was here to see you. Father, did he have a bill? Jake, no, he had a nose just like you.
Good job, Jake. Good job.
I mean, I think this is the same Jake who went fishing for chips in his computer. So.
I think so. You survived another year, Jake. That's an accomplishment in its own right. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Fantastic Friday, folks. I can't believe we made it to the end of the week. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on gift giving.
Gifts should be for the recipient, not for whoever the gift giver is, and should be paid for by the gift giver and not by the recipient.
And they should be appreciated when they're given and not be called tasteless swill.
Yes.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.